Do I have to go? Am I go? I don't know. Okay, I didn't think so. I don't know. Make it official. Okay. Okay. Oh, should I give him this? All right. All right, so we're going to call to order for the town hall. We have two different town hall events tonight. The first is going to be for the local reentry council. And with us to present, we have Mr. Greg Singleton. So if I can go ahead and invite you up to the podium. And congratulations on
Yes.
the award.
I tell you, to be recognized for this work, and it's about the work. So to be the champion for attainment with my future NC is just humbling. So thank you. Thank you. And I thank you all for allowing, again, this platform to speak about local reentry council. And this is really for the constituents, which is you that are out here now, because this is your community. And we talk about local reentry councils and those returning. Okay, there we go right there. So I don't want to turn my back to the Board of Commissioners, but I absolutely want to talk to you all. And when we talk about local reentry councils, I think what's important is to talk about who OIC is. Opportunities Industrialization Center, in which we are the intermediary agency for your local reentry council. So when we say intermediary agency, we're the ones that's responsible for the contract itself. And OIC have been helping the justice-involved population, if you can believe it, since 1964. So we're under the umbrella of OIC of America, where we clearly build and empower less fortunate people. OIC is one of those organizations that's not intimidated to go into those dark places that have few opportunities. So helping the justice-involved population fit so perfectly in their wheel circle. Now, it was bold for OIC to say we're going to accept this responsibility for Hertford, Bertie, Gates, and Chowan. And I'm glad they did. Because as I shared with the Board of Commissioners, I'm a homeboy. I'm from Hertford County. So to be able to be a part of this for where I went to high school at, Hertford, Bertie, Gates, and Chowan, you know, we all a little family in these communities. So OIC was perfectly suited for this endeavor. So the actual holder in the intermediary agency is OIC of Rocky Mount. That's over there in Nash County, where we are committed to uplift unemployed, underemployed, and justice-involved people. We look at areas of continuing education, whether that be by CDL, trade, forklift, continuing education. We want to point them to where they want to go to have a solid career. So OIC is one of those one-stop shops in Rocky Mount. OIC has been in Rocky Mount since 1969, serving Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson. So what is a local reentry council? Of course, I can read to you all night long, but I'd rather just have the conversation with you. A local reentry council is an organization that seeks to lower the North Carolina prison recidivism rate. They do it by a network of services that already exist in the community. Local reentry councils is really one of those areas that focus on the justice-involved population. And the mission is they not go back from whence they came. The purpose of the Local Reentry Council is to bring together stakeholders and community resources to assist returning citizens and their family in that transition back. I like to look at people when they get out of the military, because the military is an installation, it's a transition back. Because you can't come out in the civilian world and say, hey, drop and give me 20. People are gonna look at you like, wait a minute, guy, this is not the military. Well, it's just like that for a lot of justice-involved people. When we've been in that toxic environment for a long period of time, we have a tendency to pick up a lot of those traits of survival that is in the prison system. So we want to make sure that their transition is intact, and that's normally through soft skills. So this makes families better. So what is the mission of the Local Reentry Council? First, to improve public safety. So when we talk about lowering the prison recidivism rate, we are actually talking about lowering public safety. Why? Because in order for somebody to return back to prison or jail, they must do one or two things: commit another offense or violate the offense that they're currently on. So having a Local Reentry Council lowers and improves public safety. It also lowers the collateral cost of incarceration. If you go to where you share your county jail, they would tell you we see some of the same people consistently. That's a cost on your county when that person returns back into your county jail. So we look at not just state prison, not just federal prisoners, we focus on those that are returning from county jails also. And that is going to lower that collateral cost of incarceration. Improve taxpayers through gainful employment. Having a Local Reentry Council, if you can consider a united front behind someone that's trying to return, Local Reentry Councils are that, because we remove prison barriers. And the whole plan is that individual becomes sustainable of themselves, to be able to take care of them and their family. And that is through gainful employment. What will this Local Reentry Council consist of? First, we already have a diverse executive board. Diverse meaning we have members from each of the 4 counties that's on that executive committee. Then the next mission is to build advisory boards. And hopefully you would take this conversation with people in your community who want to serve on the advisory board. The advisory board meets monthly. They talk about things they want to make sure that are being addressed and how they are being addressed. The advisory board also connects us to resources that are already in the community. So we look for members from the community colleges, from your DSS, regular community activists that want to be involved with lowering the prison recidivism rate. We invite them to the advisory board. Now, our next executive committee meeting, we will determine how many people do we want to start with on the advisory committee. So again, for those who are in Gates County and want to play a role in lowering the prison recidivism rate, please have them get in contact with Ms. Shanithia Mabry, which is right here, the Awesome Reentry Director, and she will make sure that you get contacted appropriately and on the list. We also have 2 full-time case manager positions that will be a part of this Local Reentry Council. And we're talking about with the fringe benefits and everything. So those positions are posted, hopefully, on your county website. And if not, you can definitely go to OIC of Rocky Mount, careers, and it's posted there. Why was Local Reentry Council started? So I like to use a scenario of an English-speaking child. You take that English-speaking child and put it in a Spanish home. What would that child wind up speaking? If they're speaking Spanish inside of that home, that's what the child is going to speak. Or you could do the reverse and take a Spanish child and put it in an English-speaking home. If they're speaking English in that home, that's exactly what the child is going to be speaking. So local reentry councils was visiting where were individuals returning back to. Meaning if I left and got incarcerated because I come from a drug-infested environment, I go to prison and I return right back to that environment, the probability of me getting inside of that criminal world again is very high. So what the North Carolina General Assembly did, and with the Joint Select Committee, was looking at that and how they were returning back to society. Were there any landing spaces that will receive a justice-involved person and not be intimidated because they have been to prison or jail? This is about the moral compass as well, talking to people's hearts. So this, having a local reentry council, will lower the prison recidivism rate, and it will get people gainfully employed through education. These are the line item areas based on the funding that's provided by the North Carolina Department of Adult Corrections that fund this grant. Those areas such as housing, transportation, food, clothing, education, employment, mental health, substance abuse, child care. That's why it was so good to connect with my brother in this work, because when we look at mental health and substance abuse, it's one or two things that's going to happen as you look at someone who's substance abuse, right? Either they're going to go to jail if they don't stop, or they're going to succumb. So we want to be that partner with the opioid task force to make sure that we have a landing space and that we're working collectively in resolving this problem. So those are the line items that the local reentry council is funded by. Now, it does not mean that we have all the answers. There may not be housing. May not have had the conversation about it. But now is that time. What is an intermediary agency? As I shared with you, we are the ones that are responsible for the contract, making sure that it moves forward, making sure that the execution is taking place. If there is a problem with the local reentry council, the state is not going to come to the county. They're going to come directly to OIC. So it's important. That's why these town halls and these conversations are so important, because we do not want to do this without full community involvement. We are your fiscal agent. This is a reimbursement grant. It's not one of those grants where the state sent us $225,000 and said chip away at it. No, it's a reimbursement. OIC put the money up front for a reimbursement. So we are that fiscal agent that manages the dollars and cents. We are the liaison between us and DAC as it relates to the local reentry council. We provide administrative support and technical assistance. As soon as we bring on those 2 full-time people, they will be equipped with a database called Unite Us, where we will be doing our case management and intakes from. Again, the case manager positions posted February the 15th. We're now having a town hall. We're going to have a town hall in each of the 4 counties, Hereford, Bertie, as well as Chowan. And the desire is to develop an advisory committee right here, which would be your local reentry council. Are there any questions whatsoever? Yes, ma'am.
How do you guys do your outreach? Do you get like released prisoners that opt into your services, or do they have to reach out to you?
Very good question. It is a volunteer program. That's the first part of that question. And we have a list that we get from DAC, those that are returned. So we're going to have an office space between here in Gates. We're going to have an office space where we will do the intakes. So there will be office hours posted on the county website. When to come, it's a volunteer program. And we are not biased. We don't care what your crime is, but we do care, right? But we're not discriminating based on your crime. right? How long you've been out of prison. We just want to help get you back on the right track. What is your name?
My name's Kelly.
Kelly, thank you so much for that question, because that is a very important question. Are there any other questions? Come on, I wasn't that good. How many of you think that you can put your heart and mind around this type of initiative by a show of hands? Because this is your home. This is your home. We do not decide and dictate who comes back here. If they left from here, they're coming back here. As a matter of fact, DAC says that over 96% of those are going to return. It makes sense. And it's smart. And it's the right thing to do. To help those that are returning back to you. I believe in second chance. And we had a conversation with my guy. He'll say, yeah, Greg wants second, third, fourth, and fifth. But again, this is a wonderful opportunity to change lives for the better. And that's why I stand completely behind this initiative. Yes, ma'am.
Question. I'm
Yes.
not sure, I just walked in, not sure if you already addressed it. But I know some local reentry councils only deal with the in-state offenders. What if offenders have, we're close to the Virginia line, so what if the offender have served time in Virginia and they came back to the county? Are we still?
Absolutely. Very good question. Actually, I have a cousin who caught his case in Virginia. It was an accident, and he lives in Murfreesboro. He's on the advisory committee for the reentry council. So long as your county has received that person through the sheriff's office or what have you, absolutely. 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 Very good question. What's your name, ma'am?
Miss Caroline Taylor.
Miss Carolyn. Yes, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't want to turn my back to the county commissioners, but they have been really a true advocate in helping us move this forward. It's your support because it's your constituents. Mm-hmm. And I'm so proud to know and be working with your county manager who has really he knew initially that this was a smart thing to do. And then your chair, smart thing to do. And everybody else. So, I guess I'll say like my dad, after I've done finished my part, I guess I'll go and sit on down. But thank you for this opportunity and this platform.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay. Well, if there were no other comments or questions, I think it is most appropriate to recess until 5:30 as the next town hall was advertised for 5:30 with the opioid task force. So we will go into recess for the next 10 minutes and we'll reconvene at 5:30 for the opioid task force town hall. All right. Okay, so we're coming back on for the second portion of the town hall. We have the opioid task force town hall, and our presenter for this is Chief Stormy Butts with Gates County Rescue. So I'm going to invite him to the podium.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Commissioners. I don't have a fancy presentation like the council. So, I ended up on the opioid task force because I'm at the tip of the spear. We're the ones that see them first whenever they call 911 due to an overdose. And we spent the last 10 years working with Albemarle Regional Health Services through some grants to fund a post-overdose response team, and started some risk reduction or harm reduction things with Narcan, syringe services. So 10 years ago, those grant funds have slowly dwindled away, and as the opioid settlement became available, the county formed a committee to decide how those settlement funds would be spent. And we spent the better part of 2024 deciding what the best pathway was to spend some of that funding. And then late last year, the commissioners signed a resolution to spend some of that money over the next 5 years to focus on peer support specialists and adding that to our post-overdose response team. So we went to work looking for a person that qualifies. They have to meet certain criteria in order to attend the training and get certified. So we started spending time trying to identify a person that either worked for the county government already and unbeknownst to me, found somebody in my staff who qualified. Actually found a couple of them who qualified. And we were able to send one to school in January. She spent 60 hours in a class, and she just received her certification at the beginning of this month as a peer support specialist. So we're really in the opening days of getting the program off of its feet. She wasn't able to be here tonight for me to show her off because she's actually in another class today discussing the effects of overdose on early childhood development, or opioid or substance abuse on early childhood development, sorry. That's where we are to this point. Anything I didn't cover?
No, I think that's great. I'm very excited to have the peer support in the county and to have us launching off. I know that has been a push for most counties statewide, is to get peer support in county in-house. So I'm really excited to have her on board. I'll open it up though if there are any questions or comments from anyone out. No?
But I have a question. Like, you know, in this work, there's always challenges. And there are goals. What are some of your goals versus some of your challenges?
So our challenge is getting the user to accept our resources or even ask for help. That's our biggest challenge. Working with you, I think, will expose us to more people. But right now, our focus from inside of EMS is only those who called 911 who had an overdose experience. A big challenge is getting the ones that we don't even know about to reach out and accept that peer support opportunity and realize that there's a resource that can help you find resources to get clean.
Good point. I mean, it's the trust factor, right? It's hard for justice involved people to trust.
Right.
Just as it would be for someone that's trying to recover to trust.
Absolutely.
So absolutely.
And that's the idea behind peer support is supposed to bridge that trust factor gap. They have lived experience, so they can relate to those people that are trying to recover and help them find the resources and the pathway to recovery.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you again. I'm excited. We have a safe space for people that are in need in the county, and it's just, to me, extremely exciting to see it come into fruition after 1.5 years or so of discussion. So I thank you. If there's nothing else, then yes.
Will there be an awareness campaign? Will there be a marketing campaign? Will there be some type of prevention as far as in the school systems, as far as in community?
So we put language in the resolution to do some early education that'll give us the ability to bring training to the teachers to help them identify children who have the or have been exposed and may become users. That training is there, that language is there. There's some language in there that allows us to work with the Recovery Council and even the jails to try to identify users that are incarcerated and try to start working on helping them find a pathway to.
I'm just concerned about the youth, the school system,
Right.
what's going on, not just in Gates County, but across the region, as far as getting to them early into parenting. So if you want to have the supervision.
So, just to
Put 'em out of
comment on
work.
that, there is a difference between, as I've learned so much in the past couple of years, between early intervention and primary intervention, I'm trying to think how it's worded. Primary prevention and early intervention. So we are able to use the opioid funds to help reach those that are at risk. However, as far as you think, a lot of people might remember, like our age and such, the DARE programs, things like that, that's going to be primary prevention, which unfortunately the opioid task force dollars does not go to as far as a broad level spectrum of education in that manner, not with the option that we have chosen at least. So the early intervention though will help with those that are having the one-on-one contact with the kids and the youth that are at risk and getting them hopefully that early intervention they need to prevent them going into any kind of active use, or if they are currently in active use, hopefully helping them earlier than later. So, all right.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you, and we will go ahead and close this portion. We'll reconvene at 6 o'clock for the regular meeting.